The Motor Dream podcast is recorded on Camaragal land of the Eora Nation. It always was and always will be the lands of the First Nations of Australia.
This is the Motor Dream podcast.
Hello and welcome to episode 38 of the Motor Dream podcast. I'm Connor McNally and this is the show where we can dream just a little about what our dream garage would be if money was no issue whatsoever. We are fast approaching the finish line of this second season of the series, and we've featured a wide variety of guests who have made their name on either two or four wheels or from beyond the racetrack. And they all have the same common denominator. They all love motoring and they love it to be fast. Some choose to be practical, and there are those who already have what they need. But there are those who have made their mark in a completely different field of profession, yet develop a deep-seated desire and passion to achieve their dreams of being a racing driver. My guest in this episode did just that very recently, walking away from a successful career as a news reporter and presenter to pursue the lifelong dream of being a racing driver. More on my guest in just a moment. Before we dive into the show proper, here's the premise of what this is all about, especially for our new listeners. I tell my guests that one day they wake up to discover that they've received a text telling them to check their bank balance. They then open up their bank app and they suddenly discover that they're instant billionaires. As soon as they discover their newfound fortune, they get an email from this mystery benefactor that tells them that they can spend anything that they like and they can buy any car, bike or machine that they want. There is a catch though. They are only allowed 3 cars, bikes or machines in their dream garage. It sounds easy, doesn't it? But trust me, as my previous guests have told me time and time again, it is very difficult to decide what they would like to have in their own dream garage. As always, be sure to like and subscribe to the podcast on your favourite podcast platform, and be sure to leave a review and tell us what you think. Also, be sure to follow us on our socials, which we'll tell you more about at the end of the show. In the world of sports broadcasting, it's not uncommon for an athlete to step away from their chosen profession and take up a role as a commentator or reporter. For some, it comes very naturally and they go on to become successful in their post-sporting life. But it is very rare for a presenter, commentator, or even an actor to do the role reversal and pursue a successful career as a racing driver. For some, this path has proven to be very successful. Names like the late Paul Newman, Patrick Dempsey and even Frankie Muniz of Malcolm in the Middle fame have successfully transitioned from acting into driving careers. You can even include Rowan Atkinson into that list. On a domestic level, Neil Crompton and Grant Denyer all made successful transitions from presenting and commentary into careers as professional racing drivers. And now you can add Kezia Dawn to that list. In 2024, Kezia made a bold life and career move. She called time on a successful news reporting and presenting career and uprooted her life to live between the United States and England to pursue a professional racing career. Some would have been rather shocked by this change in career direction, but pursuing a racing career is all Kezia ever wanted from a young age. Growing up on the family farm in Goulburn in the southern tablelands of New South Wales, she quickly became fascinated with cars from a very young age. It also helped that she lived minutes away from Wakefield Park Raceway, which has been renamed to One Raceway since the facility reopened last year. She was only 18 and completing her HSC when she joined a Porsche enthusiast group, and it was this initial interaction that the racing bug bit hard. She quickly immersed herself into the sport at every opportunity she could, pursuing a career as a promotional model and travelling to events both domestically and internationally, building up her network of contacts along the way. At the same time, she studied for a Bachelor of Journalism degree, which she successfully obtained a few years later. She also had her first taste of live presenting in mid-2016 for the now-defunct High Tech Oil's Drift All-Star Series. And I know this because I was there on her very first gig. This and other presenting opportunities for Red Bull got her notice with 9 News, who gave her first career opportunity with their Darwin bureau, where she quickly rose to become their weeknight sports presenter. She remained with 9 News when she shifted to Perth in 2019, quickly establishing herself as a sports reporter before switching networks during COVID to Channel 7 and relocating back to the eastern seaboard of Australia. Returning to Sydney, she quickly established herself as a gun news producer and presenter for Sunrise before she was headhunted to join David Koch's Ausbiz.tv platform as a finance presenter and reporter. She then decided to go freelance a few years ago and became a highly credentialed presenter and reporter for 10 News First, which continued to raise her public profile. It also opened doors to return to her first true love of motorsport. She has presented and reported at some of the biggest events on the calendar, which include the World Time Attack Challenge, the Finke Desert Race, and the big screen coverage for the Formula One Australian Grand Prix. It was these events, plus her wide network of contacts, that convinced Kezia to finally take the plunge and go racing full-time. She packed all her belongings and relocated to England to race in rallycross. It also allowed her to race in the United States, driving some very special machines which included a McLaren Senna GTR. So it's easy to see why she's very fortunate to have followed her dreams. At the time of this recording back in May this year, I caught up with her while she was staying in California in between events. And like she was back in 2016 when we first met, her passion for cars and motorsport remains as strong as ever. So it gives me great pleasure to welcome Kezia Dawn to the Motor Dream podcast. Kezia Dawn, welcome to the Motor Dream podcast. It's very cool to have you on the show all the way from California.
Thank you for having me. It's a great pleasure to be here.
And you're living the dream right now, living out the racing career, having been a presenter and a model, and you're now racing or getting the opportunity to race around the world, in not just in the United States, but also in Europe and in the UK. You're really living your dream of being a racing driver right now in some really cool cars. I've seen on your social media posts, you've been driving so many cool cars like Porsches and McLarens. Yeah, I'm jealous of you. You've got a really cool life right now.
Look, life's pretty good right now. I won't complain. A few people know, obviously, I stepped back from full-time news reporting just last year and thought, you know what, I'm just going to give it all a go. If you don't give it a go, then you'll miss out on the opportunity just from not giving it a crack. So, I went to the UK and I'm racing in the UK Rallycross Championship there. And then I'm also doing a McLaren series here in the United States. But this, aside of that, I got to drive. I'm one of, very limited amount of people who got to drive a McLaren Solus GT around COTA, which is Circuit of the Americas in Texas on Monday. And yeah, it's a wild ride. It's a great adventure. I think my favorite car to drive at the moment is a Senna GTR. And to even say I have access to drive a Senna GTR at racetracks that people can just dream of is pretty insane. Oh,
look, if anyone has been to the Ben Motorsport Park in Adelaide or just outside of Adelaide, if they can see the Senna that's on display in the actual centre at the Ben Motorsport Park, I mean, it's beautiful to watch. But to get the opportunity to drive a McLaren Senna in the flesh, I'm jealous of you for being able to do that. Like, as you said, very few people get the opportunity to do that. Do you pinch yourself knowing that you've had that opportunity to drive something so beautiful as the McLaren Senna?
It's a great car. There was definitely, I posted a video on social media actually, because I was like, how do I share this feeling that I have behind the wheel with everybody else? Because the Senna GTR isn't just a Senna, it's the specifically just for the track. So the aero on that is insane. So you just go up over the curbs, the car stabilizes itself. Like it's an absolute machine to drive, and it's got so much power behind it as well. You feel like you're in a rocket ship. So it's sometimes hard to convey that and just how unreal it does feel. But I absolutely pinch myself all the time. There is not a day goes by that I don't think, how grateful I am to be on this journey. And not everything's straightforward or easy or spelt out exactly how it is on social media, but I'm very lucky.
I've been very lucky to have known you for about more than 10 years. We met about 2014 when you were doing some modelling work, and that's how you got into this industry, starting out doing modelling work whilst you were studying to be a TV reporter and presenter, a sports reporter mostly, and you have been able to accomplish that. But you got the first opportunity to do your first on-camera work with Speed Week. Back in that time in 2014.
That was actually with you.
It was with me. I was there for that. And you were literally thrown in the deep end, and you were, I guess, finding your feet. Do you look back on what you did back then to what you are now and you think, what the hell was I doing back then? Or did you just embrace the opportunity and just, try whatever you could to just make sure that you made a good impression?
I definitely look back on that time and just think, gosh, there were so many learning curves. Like I had never done live television, getting used to just navigating people in your ear and talking to you while you're trying to talk to and interview somebody else or host something, and the prompts and the countdowns and all of the logistics that goes with television. I was very grateful to have that opportunity, because I don't know, not a lot of people might know my story, but I pretty much got pulled out of uni and given a live news reporter role by Channel 9. So I still had 6 months on my uni degree when the news director called me and said, hey, take a job. And a lot of that experience that I had just with those little logistics and the little things that can set you off when you're doing a live cross, things like that. I'm so glad I had that experience early, and I'll never regret being thrown in the deep end. I think you only ever learn when you're thrown in the deep end. But it was an awesome time. It was a great, I look back at that as some of my favorite memories, because there was pressure, but there wasn't as much pressure as what I had, Channel 10 senior reporter on the front lines of our nation's biggest stories. It's a different kind of pressure. So I definitely look back and just think, I wish I made the most of that a little bit more and maybe took the pressure off myself a little bit more. And I know transitioning now into racing and doing the driving side of things as well as the TV side of things, I'm definitely trying to take a little bit of that into a race day.
You really embraced trying to be around motorsport as much as possible, going to as many race meetings, being involved, whether it be a presenter or doing promotional work, because you started out as a model initially, but you really enjoyed being around because it allowed you to network with a lot of different people within the motorsport industry. And I'm sure that's something that you really value very much, even now when looking back on what you've done.
Oh, absolutely. Because even when I made that call to say, hey, I'm going to step away from news reporting and get back into motorsport, because I feel like I'd just distanced myself a little bit too much from something that I loved and was so passionate about. Out of the woodworks came everybody I knew from 10 years ago. And those connections and the networks that I made, I put one post on Instagram and I had a message straight away saying, well, come work at Goodwood Festival of Speed next weekend. Have an opportunity in here. And you would know what Goodwood Festival of Speed is. It is like the pinnacle of motorsport. It's the F1 pinnacle. That's where all the drivers go, and it's a little bit more relaxed than an F1 weekend and things like that. So just that networking and those connections are the reason why I am where I am now. And that is 10 years that I had stepped away and focused on just purely a television career. And I should mention that television career, I put so much effort into that because I thought girls couldn't race. I didn't think I could have the opportunity to do what I'm doing now. And that's where that real sense of, oh my goodness, I'm doing this, comes from that mini version of me that didn't think this was possible.
What made you change your thinking when you realised I can actually be a racing driver? Obviously, we've seen Formula One Academy be established. It's been very successful. Prior to that, there was W Series, got the Women's Road Racing World Championship that supports World Superbikes. I mean, the opportunities now are much more open for women to really be competitive. They can either do a women's only series or they can compete against the men. But there's more opportunities now than there ever before. What made that light bulb moment happen for you? Do you remember it specifically?
I don't think it was a specific moment. It was an opening of opportunity. So what I can gather is just in the last 5 or so years, I would say the entire momentum behind women in motorsport has changed. And I actually did my first motorsport commentary at World Time Attack last August. And I remember saying on that feed, I have the clip of it where I said, if anybody let me get behind the wheel of a race car, I would drive it tomorrow. At that point, I still didn't think I would race cars. And that is less than 8 months ago. So to be fair, sim racing was my favorite thing on earth. And I've been around race cars and I'd been given the opportunity to drive a race car since I was a teenager at Wakefield, which was just around the corner from our farm. But I still then didn't think it was possible because I thought, oh, you've got to do it from a young age. You've got to do karting. You've got to go up through the ranks. You've got to do all of those things. And then off the back of Goodwood just opened up an opportunity. So I came to America and basically was told, well, get behind the wheel of a car, drive, do what you want to do. Like, just give it a go. And I got behind the wheel and I started doing it and I really loved it. I really enjoyed it. And then it was one of the guys who worked on the safety for one of the projects we did with a McLaren said, hey, there's this competition in the UK. They're really keen to have you drive in it. Would you be keen? And I was just like, yep, sure, absolutely. Tell me what I have to do. And I put a lot of my savings, because at this point I'd stepped away from full-time working. So I was depending on savings so much, invested that in a race car and was like, that's it. I'm going to go all in and I'm going to do it, because there's an opportunity right now that I never thought I would have. And if I don't throw everything at it, then it won't ever happen. And here we are.
And you're making it happen. Racing in British Rallycross. Yeah. That's a completely different discipline to everything else. Because I know you've done circuit racing, a lot of like track days in Porsches and McLarens, but Rallycross is a completely different discipline to anything else, because it's a combination of gravel and dirt and tarmac. How much fun is it doing Rallycross?
Oh, it is the best thing ever. My debut race day, I was terrified. I cannot tell you. I'd never done a race start with so in the circuit cars, like you would understand, it's all paddle. So there's no clutches, there's no sticks. It's just you're tapping a steering wheel. It's a lot heavier braking. You have to brake with your life when you're in a McLaren, a Senna, any kind of GT car. But if you're in my little Ford Focus, you only want to lightly tap that brake, or you want to pull the handbrake. You can't be too aggressive on braking. It is all about floor it. Just put your foot straight down and steer your way out of trouble. The moment you lift is when you are in trouble. So it's a whole different mentality, but it goes back to my roots where I used to race quad bikes down the driveway. So there is this farm girl that is just absolutely doing the best thing on the planet, because you're flooring it and going through dirt and onto circuits, and you're surfing through paddocks if that's where it takes you. It's fun. And it's a good way to learn how to control the car as well. Having confidence, especially when the car's out of control. I know that then my driving in much more powerful cars on circuit tracks, I'm not as, that little bit of fear that you get when the car slips out or you feel like you're losing it a little bit. I feel more confident to grab the car and pull it into control. So it does, as much as they're completely different disciplines, they play into each other.
I like that. That's a really cool story. Particularly the fact that you openly admit you're a farm girl. You grew up on the farms in the Goulburn districts, which is really cool. You lived only minutes away from Wakefield Park. Was that the beginning of your motoring journey, being on the farm, riding on the quad bikes and rounding up the sheep or what have you?
I would say so. I think that's where I definitely learned to go fast. And without much fear, which was probably to my dad has a few extra grey hairs because of that one. But I think I was 9 years old when I thought it was really great just to see how fast I could go down the driveway. And I missed the side of the track, hit the side of a tree and flipped upside down. And I don't know how long I was there before my dad found me. And I still got back up and did it again. So I think it started there, but also, I was spoiled. The first car I drove on circuit was a Porsche GT3.
I remember that.
So it was a little bit older. It was I think it was 97. It was a 2009 997, sorry. And then, but it was completely manual, heavy clutch. And that was my starting to anything circuit. So I got a pretty good heads up there, I think. And I've been ruined ever since, because I tried to race in 86 back when I was 19, and I just didn't like it. I would race it now that I have a lot more experience in different cars. Yeah. But because it was so different to just the heavy, gritty GT3, I just didn't trust it. It's interesting, though.
It's interesting.
So I think I was spoiled from a young age.
Very spoiled, I must admit. But did you have the opportunity whilst on the farm? Did you have a manual car that you could drive around the paddock and learn?
Yeah, we had a paddock basher.
Do you remember what it was?
I can't even remember. I think it was a Datsun or something. It was something really, really dodgy. But I rolled that.
You rolled it?
I rolled that. I rolled a Suzuki Jimny. I thought a Suzuki Jimny would survive duning, and that didn't happen so well.
You've had your story with cars, haven't you? You really are a speed demon.
Apparently people still trust me to get behind the wheel.
So I'm actually intrigued that you found when you initially drove the 86, obviously if you drive it now, you probably would enjoy it a lot more now, given you appreciate what you know.
I've just got a lot more experience in different cars because
Yeah.
I think it was just because that was the only car I'd driven on circuit, and an 86 is a lot looser than a GT3. I don't know if you've driven the difference, but it's fun. It doesn't have as much power, but it doesn't have the quite that gluey aero feel of a GT3.
I have driven
And
I have driven an 86. I've driven one on the dirt, actually. I did a gravel
Oh,
experience. And they are fun. They are fun, particularly because it's rear-wheel drive and you've got to flick the tail out. And obviously, you've got to make sure you've got to drive. You've actually got to physically drive the car. It's actually a really cool experience. But I got to admit, I had more fun driving a WRX with all-wheel drive and turbo and everything. I was just having an absolute blast because I was just going, every time I did a lap on this gravel course, I was just getting faster and faster. I'm thinking, yeah, this is fun for me, because with more power, you can just go faster.
It's that challenge too that I think gets you so hooked because you're like, oh yeah, I did a really good lap. All right, cool. I'm going to top it on this corner and that corner. And if I can just get that corner right, then I'm going to have a perfect lap. And every lap you're chasing the perfect lap. And that's part of the hook of racing.
It is.
That was my problem with sim racing was I couldn't get off it.
It does get very addictive, doesn't it?
Yeah, at least with real race cars, you have usually a team of mechanics that are like, hurry up, come on, you pull in, you've only got 20 laps in this. We need to check the tire pressure. You got to stop.
How much mechanical knowledge do you have of racing cars? Like, do you know, like, you able to like tinker on the cars, like make some minor adjustments to the suspension, or be able to adjust the tire pressures, or is that something that you're still learning as you're going along?
That's something I'm definitely learning. With the UK Rallycross car, I'm getting much more into it. So because I bought that car myself and rebuilt it, I learned a lot more about the wiring and the technicals of it.
Right.
But in terms of the Atura and the Senna and even the Porsche GT3 that we have in California, I don't touch any of the mechanics on that because that's just a whole other level. And it's also a thing, it's not my car. I don't want to break it and I don't want to do the wrong thing. And I'd rather trust the guys that are paid to be there and check the tires and do the work and make sure it runs to the best of its ability rather than trying to meddle myself. But the little modified Ford Fiesta, that one's definitely...
Do you watch and observe what they do in America? Like, do you watch what the mechanics do just to get an idea what is actually going on and just get some scope of, how much intricacies goes into those kind of cars compared to the Fiesta?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting because, and this sounds like such a spoiled thing to say. I was driving the Solus at Coda, and just little things like learning how the oil heats up, the oil pressures, how that reacts differently, and that compared to the Atura, and the car pressures and how much air has to flow through the car from speed. And there's all that side of things and the physics behind that I'm finding really fascinating at the moment. But there's this whole other technical element that I have to pay attention to when I'm on track as well. And that's to do with I'm learning a circuit off by heart. I'm learning how many braking meters I've got. I'm learning how many paddle taps I've got to do. So I'm starting to learn tracks like Coda by, okay, I've got to tap up 3, down 2, brake at 110, brake once you part, like that. They're the numbers that are going through my head. So as much as I can when somebody else is in the car, I love paying attention to what the mechanics do. But when I'm at a track, I'm usually trying to maximize what I'm doing as a driver.
What tracks have you done so far in your journey since you've moved away from television? Well, obviously you've done Circuit of Americas, but is there any other tracks that you've done, particularly in the United States, or tracks that you would love to actually go and attack and have the track to your own one day?
Yeah, there is. I'd love to go to Indy. I think in America, I think that would probably be the one. I may or may not have an opportunity to drive that in October, and that's sort of like top of my list right now.
We're talking the Indy road course here, of course.
The Indy Speedway.
Oh, so the Indy road course. So inside the speedway. That's cool.
So that's probably top of the list right now. There's a few, there's tracks in Europe that I'd love to have the opportunity to do. Like everyone says Monza's not that great, but I'm like, Monza's the track I've raced the most on a sim. Like I'd love to have an actual car out there. Obviously, you watch the F1 tracks, you'd love to have an opportunity to drive that. Nürburgring's right up there just because you have to bucket list it. But in America, what I've done so far, so we drive a lot at a place called the Thermal Club. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you've heard of that, but it's got 3 different circuits to it. One's more technical, one's a little bit more faster. And for me, that's really good for honing my skills.
I'm just having a look at the circuit right now. It actually looks, it's been part of the IndyCar series. And
yeah, they raced there just end of March, a couple of weeks ago.
I actually like it. It's a cool layout. It's actually a very, very cool layout. And it goes, it's almost 5 kilometers in length, about 3 miles or 3.067 miles, 17 turns. I like it. It's a very challenging layout. It's really cool.
But you can see, so if you're looking at the map, you can see that it's got green, blue, red.
Yeah.
So they mix up those combinations. So the green's the really technical side of things, but that's probably my favorite. And you mix that in with the blue track, and you've got the big carousel that goes into, you've got a little bit of a swish around, and then you've got the back straight, and then you've got a whole bunch of really technical corners right around the back. And then there's a really fun S that comes down around the main straight.
Mm-hmm. I like it.
So that's the most fun but I also think I treat that like my playground now. That is where I challenge myself. I know my times. I know what I want to beat. I know what I want to improve on. But also, if you look at that layout, it has almost every type of corner you can face on a racetrack. In terms of the tight hairpins, the big carousel, you've got, if you look at the red circuit, you've got the big long with the hairpins. So it's really good for technically learning, I think. And then obviously, Coda's second up there with the most insane track I've ever driven. It's the fastest track I've driven.
Are you looking forward to one day potentially going to places like Laguna Seca and just going through the corkscrew?
Yes. It's so funny because I was in Laguna the other day and I was just like, oh my goodness, I'd love to go. But yeah, that's still waiting to happen. Sonoma, I think, would be quite cool as well.
Oh, Sonoma is actually, Sonoma's a really cool track. That's a really, really cool place to, because they do a lot of the NASCAR Cup races there. I think it's once a year they go to Sonoma and they do the road courses, and that's a fun track. It's actually fun to watch when they do NASCAR there because the brakes on those cars, obviously the technology's gotten better and they're much better cars to drive now, but they've always struggled with brakes because they've got very tiny brakes on these cars, and you've got these 3,500 pound cars and they're trying to navigate a road course and they're not made for road racing. It's an absolute struggle, but it's actually fun to see them actually attempt to do a full race.
We love a bit of chaos. We love a bit of a struggle.
Exactly.
Why do we really watch racing?
We just love to see crashes from time to time and people struggling.
I've got to be careful what I say because my team also tell me your one job at the end of a race weekend is to have a clean car. And
that's true. I mean,
I've always got that in the back of my mind. But I have loved it because it's before when I was just doing track days and stuff like that, you don't get in amongst the cars like you do on a race day. And there's something I always thought that would terrify the hell out of me. And I actually really love getting in the mix. And that whole idea of your whole mindset of where cars are, like, when you drive on the road and you're really conscious of a car passing you or don't cross over into the other lane, or I'm trying to put it into like normal terms.
Yeah.
But when you're on track, you're kind of like, nah, I'm going to nudge in here. And if you don't want to touch me, you got to get out of the way. There's a little bit more.
There's a
little bit of fun and excitement to being in amongst it.
Yeah, I can see that you've got that sort of like,
it's like blinded.
Yeah.
And you're just like, no, I'm taking this line. I know that there's a gap there. You've left that gap open, so you get out of my way.
It's like the center attitude. If you no longer go for a gap that doesn't exist, you're no longer a racing driver. I think that's your attitude, isn't it?
Yeah, that's pretty much.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Who are you?
And I think until you're on the track with a whole bunch of other, like you're in that racing environment, you don't really understand what that means.
Oh, no, I do. Yeah. I do understand. I've done track days in the past, but I've not been in the, like, when I've done like indoor kart racing, you get into that moment where you go, right, I'm going for you and I'm going to get you. And if you don't move out of the way, I will tap you out of the way if I have to. So not that I recommend people to do that, but it's...
Well, I meant to not scratch the car. That is a very... Allegedly important thing.
Well, you've got to look after the car. The owners have to say, "Hey, bring the car back in one piece, then we'll let you drive the car again if you're good." So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, we were at Coda just 3 weeks ago. Actually, I was learning the track to do the McLaren series round,
Yep.
and the car caught fire, and that was
Now,
completely nobody's fault. And the car was totaled purely because the fuel line came loose. So
how gutting was that? Because obviously you were doing very well racing around Coda, and then the fuel line comes loose and it destroys the car. I mean, how gutting was that for not just yourself but for the team?
Oh, it was devastating. It was, yeah, there was that moment. It's interesting because like my co-driver was in the car. I'd just gotten out a lap and a half before. So I think I'd already gone up to the physio and I was starting to get my neck checked and things like that because you hold a lot of weight in your neck and your shoulders when you're driving around those circuits in those cars. But yeah, I saw the red flag and I saw that our car didn't come in and I didn't get any message from anyone about what was going on. But I didn't realize that they'd been standing, like they'd gotten out of the car and he was just standing there waiting for fireys to come and the car was just burning. And it's kind of like, oh, if somebody had come a bit quicker or the other cars got out of the way a bit sooner, could we have saved the car? Could it have been repaired? And instead it wasn't, and we missed out on the race weekend. And that was really gutting because that was meant to be, for me, my first big exposure to that level of racing.
So what's going to happen now? Now that the bad luck's happened, what's next for you in that regard with the McLaren series? Are you going to be doing have another chance to race in that, or what's the plan there?
Yeah, so I'll be competing again in July. So now it's just a bit of a wait, which is fine because I'm going to F1 in Monaco and hosting the desert racing back in Australia, and I've got other opportunities that are really awesome and really fun.
Stop it. You're making me jealous. Going to Monaco, that's really cool. Going to do the Monaco Grand Prix, I mean, that's everyone's fantasy to be there, either be as a spectator or be there on the grid, mingling with all the big wigs of the sport, in one of the most glamorous places in the world. I mean, you must be pinching yourself to get that opportunity to be in Monaco for the Grand Prix.
Oh, it's insane. And we'll be with Red Bull. So I've been invited as part of one of their guests. So that should be insane to be behind the scenes of what is one of the bigger teams. They're not McLaren right now, but they're doing, they're still a great team. They've got Max, and it should be pretty exciting to be behind the scenes.
Absolutely. When you were growing
up. And hopefully get a glimpse of his new little baby.
Oh, yes, of course. Of course. Well, that's where we're recording this. It's only just been a few days since Max and Kelly PK became parents, or Kelly became parents for the second time, but first one together with Max. And congratulations to Max and Kelly for their birth of their little child. It's exciting times for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Little Lily, I think she's going to be hopefully an F1 Academy champion.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Well, there's some good bloodlines from both sides.
Well, exactly right. Kelly being...
I hope she makes the mark, but you never know. You don't want that pressure on a little baby that's just a few days old.
Well, no, exactly right. When you were growing up in Goulburn and you were going to Wakefield Park, and then obviously as time went on and you started to mingle in motorsport, who did you look up to and go, I want to be like that person? Like, did you have anyone in particular or any people in particular that you really looked to for inspiration?
So interesting, because my first exposure to really being around women in motorsport was when Simona Di Silvestro was racing in the Supercars Championship. And I was drawn to her just because I was like, oh my goodness, she's actually doing it in a competition that I'm here and I'm seeing and I'm visualizing. That was for me the first real, oh, well, if you put your mind to it, you could possibly actually do that. And it's been interesting seeing her, she's not in the Supercars Championship anymore, but you see her pop up in numerous different places. And that was probably my first female that I looked at that made me think, oh yeah, maybe I could do that too. Besides that, I used to love Mark Webber. I would say I was a little bit of a Daniel Ricciardo fan, but it's probably grown a little bit more that I've had more exposure to some of the drivers and who I really love and gravitate to. Yeah, I really love Carlos Sainz and his dad. Like, I love that family dynamic there, but also that they're racing in two completely different codes and how that bloodline's grown and that there's different opportunities everywhere.
It is definitely fantastic opportunities, particularly when you look at now with the F1 Academy. We've got a couple of Australian drivers in Ava, I'll get this right eventually, Ava Anagnostiadis and Joanne Ciccone. I actually interviewed Ava recently for the podcast, and she's an absolutely charming young lady, only 17, from Melbourne, and she's been doing some really good things in karting, and now she's got this opportunity to go on the world stage just as much as Joanne Ciccone is. I mean, it's great that we've got two Australian women involved in F1 Academy, really proving their worth against some of the world's best, and including some really cool names in the sport. You've got Leah Block as well, and I mean, that's like Carnicross royalty right there.
Yeah, absolutely. And also the F1 Academy on Netflix, the series has just come out this week. So I was super gutted I couldn't be in Miami. It clashed with my Kentucky event, but I wanted to be in Miami this weekend and had an invite to the paddock, and it would have just been so cool to be around those young girls. It's the first time I've ever had an invite to be around them. But it would have just, they really are. It's exciting. And it's exciting. We have Oscar Piastri currently leading the championship. He's doing so great. We've got an Australian there. We've got two girls in the F1 Academy. I think, it's the year to be an Australian in motorsport. Yeah,
and also we got an Australian in the Women's Road Racing World Championship in the world that supports the World Superbikes in Taylor Ralph, I should say. So there's some really, really positive signs that the sport's in a very good place right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And these are the tiny steps. Like we keep saying, there's so much to do with women in motorsport, but we're on our way there. The dynamic has shifted. The conversations are changing, and it's just going to keep growing. And I think we often, until you travel the world and go to all these different places, you don't realize, just how big of a mark Australians are making and how big it is out there to try and make it, and to be even have two girls in the F1 Academy, how incredible that is, because there are a lot of families with a lot of daughters that are pushing to be in that Academy series.
This is the Motor Dream Podcast.
Okay, Kezia, we know you love motorsport and you love cars. You've been very fortunate to have driven some very, very cool cars, and you make me jealous by virtue of that. So I'll give you credit that you've got one up on me in that regard. But I want to know how much of a car nut you really, really are. I want to really get into your psyche a little bit about your interest in cars. So I want to start off by asking you the first car that you drove. And obviously you mentioned you had a little Datsun on the farm that is a paddock basher. Do you remember the first car that you had the opportunity to drive on the road?
Yeah, I was on the road.
On the road. Do you remember?
Okay. I was going to say I was about 5 years old. It was on my dad's knee, and it was a Toyota Land.
Oh, was it? Toyota Land Cruiser. That's cool.
But I learned to drive in a Toyota Land Cruiser because that's what we had. We ended up having a Parado and a Discovery eventually down the track, but Dad has about 6 or 8 of these old school 1990s Toyota Land Cruisers, and that was how I learned to drive.
What do they like to drive?
They're a beast of a car. They're getting worse by the day. They're so solid, but it's a big truck. It's manual. It's 15-year-old me had to learn a few skills to get a foot down on the clutch right and reach everything, and stalled it quite a few times at traffic lights. Couldn't do heel starts to save my life, but we got there.
That's cool.
But yeah, that was the car I learned to drive on.
Do you remember the first car that you owned?
The first car that I owned was a little yellow, I think it was also a Datsun. It was a little bubble car. And I think I picked it up for like $1,000 in high school, and I loved it. It was my version of the Beetle that I could afford, because we didn't have a whole lot of money growing up. We went through the drought. We lost a lot of money. We kind of scraped through for a little bit there. So that was my first car, but it might have been a Daihatsu. That was a Daihatsu.
Daihatsus are a good car. I actually owned one for a period of time. They are, and they're Toyota built.
Right, there you go. I've completely forgotten what the first car was that I got. I know what the first new car was that I bought.
Well, I think it was a BMW. Am I correct?
So the first race car I bought was a BMW fitted out with an M4 kit. Yeah.
Yep.
And I remember that one. Don't you worry. I also wrote it off. But
You wrote it off? How did you do that?
well, I didn't. It was on the highway, and we hit roadworks, and there was a four-wheel drive behind me with an old couple in it, and they had cruise control on, and the cruise control mustn't have. It was before it had the auto slow down. You know how cars these days can tell when you're approaching and it automatically brakes for you?
Yes.
It was before that time. They ran up the back of me and pushed me into the car in front. And I think, so we had essentially modified the engine, which we weren't really probably meant to do. So it had a really pimped out turbo in the front. And I think the mechanics saw it and went, we're going to take the engine. We'll write off the car, because the value that they told the insurers was $10,000 more than what the market value was.
Oops.
So I ended up making an extra 10 grand out of it and reinvesting that in the next car.
Perfect. That worked out really well for you.
I just remember thinking, I'm like, they wouldn't have valued it up if they really thought, I was so hung up on the work we'd done on that car to make it faster on track.
I think I actually remember that car. I think I remember seeing you in that car around that time, around the time we first met. I do remember it actually, and you were very proud of that. You were very proud of that. I know. Do you remember the first time you went on a road trip that you remember?
Road trip I remember was 2013, and it was around Australia. I met a German backpacker. And well, call him backpacker. We're still friends. He's beautiful. His name's Felix. But we cut out a foam mattress, laid it down in the back of the Hyundai i30, which was my first brand new car that I bought. The back of the seats laid flat, so we turned it into basically a mini camper van and drove down to Melbourne, Great Ocean Road, up through the centre, up to Darwin, then across to Queensland and back down to our farm in Goulburn, and it was the best 3 months of my life. You
sound very proud of that. Like, to be able to do. With it, did you go like off road at times? Did you have to go like through like cattle roads and the like, or was it just a?
Yeah, look, it wasn't the most ideal car for off road. We did park it near Cairns and jump in with some people with a 4-wheel drive to go right up north. But it survived. It went. Yeah, I think we were cruising along up the Stewart Highway. Camped out in, literally just stops on the side of the Stewart Highway. So I don't know how safe it was, but
nice.
We lived, and there was a carefree element of that was quite fun.
Actually, because the Sturt Highway, I don't know if there's a speed limit now, but at that time, actually, no, they might have imposed a speed limit.
No, they've capped it to 130 now, which is annoying.
Yeah, I was going to say, because before that you could do, it was the only road in Australia that you could do unlimited speed limits. So that would have been sucky.
Get a wave down from the cops. You know what's so funny though, because Felix was German. We had to go 80. Like fuel conservation, very rigid on all those things. So we actually cruised up the Stewart Highway at 80 kilometers per hour.
Oh, that would have like sort of like, I really want to go fast. He was
used to an autobahn. He didn't really care about an unlimited speed limit. So
okay. I like his thinking though. Just be because you didn't have much money. You got to make sure you make the money last. So
yeah, like we were fresh out of school. We were young. We had pennies to our name.
Absolutely,
it was great though.
Yeah. Do you remember the first time you changed a tyre?
Yes. With great help from my dad.
How old were you when that happened?
I actually think I did it before I learned to drive. So I could have been something like 12 or 13. And my dad was very much a farmer. So he taught me how to change the oil. I've known how to do oil changes, tyre changes, coolant, all those things since I was about 10. But I couldn't work out the jack, and I needed Dad's help. And I think to this day, I don't know if I've actually changed a tyre on my own.
You're going to have to do it sooner or later one day.
Confession. Usually I go, so boys, who can help?
I like it, like your thinking. What about the music that you listen to when you go on a road trip? What's your go-to?
John Williamson. To be fair, in America, I'm so overexposed to everything American over here that I've been listening to Hey True Blue. I was way back from the airport this afternoon. I was singing Waltzy Matilda and Hey True Blue. So
I was expecting
always my country music.
Well, but you grew up on the farm. You're a bit of a country person as well. So I take it you like your Aussie country.
It makes me feel at home. I don't know. Gives me my warm and fuzzies. But yeah, no, definitely road trip with a bit of country music.
What about eating in cars? Yes or no?
Oh, no fast food.
Fair point. Fair point. You can do coffee maybe, but no, yeah, I agree with that. No.
Definitely would have a coffee and a juice, but yeah. Also, we do the cars we partner with here in driving in that I'm driving pretty much in the US. You would never.
Yeah.
It's like Bentleys and Rolls Royces. You would never.
You would never get away with it. You'd be thrown out of
I
the
would be
country.
mortified by myself. I don't think
I'd be mortified.
I wouldn't let myself survive.
I would be mortified too if that was the case. Do you remember getting your license first go, or were you one of those people that had to attempt it a few times?
No, I was sneaky. I got mine in New Zealand when I was 15, and I just did a computer test and got my license. By the time I had my restricted license in New Zealand was the equivalent of the P plates in Australia. So when I came, I did like 6 months in New Zealand through high school and came back to Australia and just went straight over to my Ps.
The laws are different in New Zealand.
In New Zealand, when you're 15 years old and you do 6 months of your learners, and then you get your restricted license, and then it's 12 months after that you get your unrestricted. So people are driving on full unrestricted licenses at like 18 over there. So when I came over, I went straight onto a green P plate instead of having to do the red P plate system.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, I don't know how I did that.
Oh, I
feel a little bit bad. I've lost my license twice, so
Ooh,
don't know. They're trying to put me back on P plates.
Were they both speeding related?
Yes, one was a red light camera.
Okay.
Which was double demerits on Christmas Day last year, and I was so annoyed because I was like, it's Christmas and I'm driving to work at 7 a.m. And the photograph actually had my tires over the line. And I spoke to one of the police officers who said, oh no, if your tires are over the line, then you're actually clear. You're in the intersection. And then the argument back from Service New South Wales was, yes, but there is a delay on that camera. And by the time the photo was taken, you would like that, whatever that delay was, would have meant I was still in front of the line. I don't know. It was a technicality, I reckon.
Yeah, I reckon it was a technique.
The other one was I was going 50 down Elizabeth Street in the middle of Sydney. I used to start work for Sunrise at like midnight, and the speed limit's 40, and I was going like 50, that 10 kilometers over 6 times.
Oops.
Somehow in a period of like 2 years, and my fines were getting sent to my dad's place, so I didn't get them in Sydney.
Oops.
Until I got a notification that my license was suspended, and I was like, ah, damn it.
Oh, dear.
So I would like to argue that my losing of licenses was technicalities.
I'll allow that. What? Okay.
I was never going like 180 down a highway.
Oh, sure. No. I don't see you doing that kind of thing. I don't see you doing that. What about the best car that you've owned? Because I'm sure you've had a number of cars in your time here in Australia and also over in America. You've had the opportunity to drive some really cool cars. But is there one car that you consider the best one that you've ever owned?
I had an Audi TT, and I used to love that.
They're cool cars.
Ended up having gearbox issues, and the reverse went faulty, and we got rid of it. But that was probably the funnest car to drive as a 20. I think it was 21. Something. That was before the BMW race car, actually. But that was fun. That was probably one that I remember just having a really great time in. Since then, I'd like to say the Mazda CX-5 is the most reliable car that I like to drive. That was my car of choice back in Sydney.
What about now? What about now in America?
I don't know if you've seen my Instagram lately, but I'm driving around a lilac frost Bentley.
Oh, stop it.
So I can't. If you want to tell me, my favorite's probably that one.
Hang on a sec. I've been... Oh, stop it. Stop it. We will post this on
GTS. It's a Continental GTS.
And I love the Bentleys. I love the Continental GTS. Oh my goodness! Like I am a fan of the GT3 model, the Continentals, the ones that won the Bathurst 12 Hour way back in 2020. But I mean those cars with the twin turbo 4.2 litre V8. Oh my goodness, they sound absolutely Like they when they go hard.
Just so you know, the GTS has a very nice roar.
I don't-
You can open that up in sports mode, and that is,
Yeah.
I just do it on the highway because I can.
I love it. I love it. I'm jealous, and B, I think it's just utterly cool that you have a car like a Bentley. That's just, yeah, that's a
I do have to catch though. I don't own that one.
Okay. You would like to though.
I would love to if I had, the money.
What about the worst car that you've owned?
That's a tough one. I feel like I've got really fun stories with the cars that I've owned. I've always had a bit of a journey with them. Maybe, like when I lived in New Zealand, I had a little Toyota Echo, this like bright red little Toyota Echo. It was probably a bit like the old Yaris's.
Yeah. I remember the Echoes.
Yeah. Maybe that was probably like the least practical car that I owned.
Why
It
was
was
it?
annoying because there was a lot of snow in New Zealand and it just did not survive that. But I don't know. Like I love our trucks. Like I love the Land Cruisers. Dad hates the BT50 Mazda, to be fair, but I quite like it. So I think that's just a preference thing. Yeah, I don't have a car that I hate that I've owned.
That's interesting.
The Hatsu thing was probably that was a piece of whatever.
Yeah.
But we had great stories in it. It was my high school escape study periods and go off shopping car, and we had a great time. We packed everyone in it.
All right.
So yeah, I don't have one that I hate. No.
Okay.
That sounds like a real downer, sorry.
No, don't be. Yeah,
The Toyota Echo is probably probably it. Yeah.
Well, was it on the North Island or South Island that it was snowing?
South Island.
Oh, okay. Okay, that explains it.
Yeah, it was just the snow versus Toyota Echo thing that didn't really, not designed for it. Should have had a four-wheel drive.
I take it your dad taught you how to drive?
Yeah. Yeah.
Does he understand and appreciate what you do now as a career, being able to go and race cars and being able to do all the media stuff that's really helped you, guide your way into the career that you're doing now?
So first of all, my dad is like the most farmer blokey bloke you've ever met. So he just says, oh, my daughter's famous or my daughter wants to be famous. That's all he understands about my media career. That's fine. But as soon as I said I wanted to race in the UK Rallycross Championship, he was my first sponsor.
Oh, nice. So you really got
Yeah.
behind it. That's really cool.
Yeah. So I think he loves to be able to be part of it with me.
I love that. That's a cool story.
Yeah.
What about things like stickers on cars or aftermarket spoilers and the like? Those tacky things that people try to do to try and make their cars look nicer, but they are just like,
Call them tacky.
yes, yes or no to them.
Careful. I like them in moderation. People go over the board and you're like, oh, what have you done? You've ruined your car.
Yeah.
But there is some really nice, there's some nice stuff that you can do. There's a few aftermarket Porsche exhausts and things like that.
Well, I mean, you did do up your M4, so you did put a turbo on it.
Yeah, I think within moderation you can do things.
Yeah, I agree.
It's actually more fun. You don't want to have the same car as everyone else spec'd from a factory.
Yeah, good point.
I work really closely with Scuderia Auto Art in Sydney. So I'm like, I'm a fan of some of the stuff they do.
What kind of things would you like to do if you had the choice? Like, obviously, I know you did the turbo for the BMW, but if you had a car now, what would you do to it? Like with the things you would like to do in moderation?
Oh, I'd love to pimp out a GT3, a Porsche GT3.
Oh,
Exhaust,
nice.
custom capillaries. Yeah.
I like it. All right, last thing before we actually
That would be me, putting drops of purple and white freckled all over.
I take it purple's your favourite colour.
It is.
That explains the Bentley then. That explains the Bentley.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I was in love with that car from the moment I saw it.
I don't doubt that. I can see the joy that you have in your eyes when you take photos of it. It's cool. Two more
You're a
things.
boy, you might not have noticed, but the matching shoes and handbag were on purpose.
Yes, I noticed that. I did notice that. All right, two more things. what's in your glove box right now? You can say don't want to talk about it, or if you want to say what you've got in there, happy for you to divulge.
In my glove box is registration papers, insurance, baby wipes, because I don't want anything happening just in case it happens. I need to clean it up straight away.
Totally understand.
Sunglasses and lip gloss.
Very straightforward.
Yeah.
Very straightforward.
There's nothing there's nothing too strange or mysterious in there.
Fair enough. And lastly, do you name your cars, and what are your thoughts on those that do?
I think you've got to have a name. So my pink race car in the UK Rallycross Championship is called Susan, and the Bentley's called Lady P.
Oh, I love it. Lady P. As in Lady Penelope from the Thunderbirds. I love it.
Lady Penelope from the Thunderbirds.
Yes.
Exactly what she is named after.
Thank
Except
you.
her.
Of
So, and it
course.
wasn't a Bentley, but I had to do, Lady P is purple and cooler.
I like it. I do like it. I'm glad someone knows what...
Thanks for getting my mentality there. You're the first person who's known that's why I've named her Lady P.
I'm glad someone knows what the Thunderbirds is. I mean, the show's more than 60 years old now, but it's something. It's still like a cult classic, and people remember Lady Penelope and that Bentley and that Rolls Royce as it was in that series. But yeah, I like it. I'm glad. I thought to myself as soon as you said Lady P, I thought, ooh, it must be something related with Lady Penelope from the Thunderbirds.
It's an Australian thing because nobody in America gets it. Literally no one. I think it's because it was on after school when we came home from school.
Yes. Yes. Well, I certainly remember it back in my days.
Any Australian born in the 90s has watched Thunderbirds. So
anyone born in the 70s, 80s or 90s that watched Thunderbirds would remember, yeah.
Oh, yeah, true. I shouldn't just say born in the 90s. That's just me.
No, well, I grew up in the 90s as well. No. That's fine. I must, can't help that I'm older, but that's...
I need to take consideration. It's more people.
That's okay.
Thunderbirds is isn't it from the 70s?
60s. 1960s.
60s. There you go. 1963, isn't it?
Let me have a look, actually.
It's 1963 or 1969.
Let's have a look.
I could be totally off.
Here we go. So for those that are really into their sci-fi, I know this is a car podcast, but here we go. It was just
cool cars in it.
Yeah, it was some really cool cars. It was actually released between 1965 to 1966.
I was totally
So
off.
you're only a couple of years off, but 1965 to 1966. So yeah, there we go. So that's when it was. That's like 60 years ago this
Fun
year.
fact trivia.
Exactly.
But when you talk about cool cars, there's a Revolto here that we drive. I get to drive. There's a McLaren 765 LT that I drive through LA quite a bit. The Rolls Royce Cullinan. Oh, there's another Lamborghini Aventador.
Oh, the Aventadors are nice.
Cool cars we drive around.
Yeah, Aventadors are really nice. Okay.
The new Revolto though is very, very nice.
Which one? Sorry.
The new Revolto.
Oh, okay.
It's actually really good for a road trip.
Well, you mentioned road trips. I know you mentioned that the first road trip that you remember, and that one was obviously with Felix. Actually, here's one more question. Do you remember what is the best ever road trip of all the road trips that you've done?
Oh, I have to say that was the best one. That was the most carefree. But probably the other one would be we road tripped we got the car across on the ferry from the UK to Paris, drove down to Barcelona through San Sebastian, across the south of France and down to Rome. That's probably the most iconic road trip.
Oh, I would love to do that. Can I say my favourite, most recent road trip was going through Ireland. Because the roads are so narrow, but I drove one in a BMW 5 Series. So it was an M5, but my goodness, it was so good. So much fun. The seats were so comfortable, and I absolutely loved it. The only thing I was worried about, because it was a rental, whilst on the
brick
trip.
Wall?
Yeah, the walls and everything. I had to make sure that I had to bring in the electric wing mirrors because I didn't want to damage them. Otherwise, we would have had to pay excess on it. So... Yeah, I was absolutely...
They have to be really skinny, everything's just stone fences. And you're like, I don't think this is designed for modern day cars.
No, it's not. But I mean, it's so cool. It was just a good trip to go from Dublin all the way down to Cork via Westport. So we went Dublin to Westport, then down to Limerick and Cork. Good trip, good road trip. It was really cool.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
And I'm now just having a look at the Lamborghini Revuelto. Wow, yeah, it's got some really yeah. I like it. I do like it. It's really cool. And because it's a hybrid as well, that makes it even much more fun. So,
yeah, it's quite fun though. It goes into hybrid mode and it's dead quiet. And it's very strange driving a sports car that's dead quiet.
has it got any gadgets that you can make engine sounds when it goes quiet, or is it just one of those things?
No, no, it's not like the Porsche Taycan. Oh, was it Yeah, Taycan? Isn't it Taycan?
Yeah, Taycan.
Can't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the one that has the fake revving sound.
That's right, it does too.
Porsche have done a great job. I love a Porsche. Porsche will always and forever be my favorite make of car. But that was a bit weird.
Why was it weird?
Oh, I just kept winding the window down and I was just like, oh, this just doesn't, it sounds fake. It sounds like it's trying. And one thing I really love about cars is that the rumble and the roar that you feel go through you. That's what makes me really love a car. It's like you can feel the heartbeat of the car. Trying to mimic that, I think maybe they've improved in more recently, but the first one that came out, I was lucky enough to drive it, and it was probably the first edition, and it wasn't maybe the best. But I'm totally biased. It's just me. That's just my opinion.
That's okay.
Some people love it, so.
I haven't driven a Taycan yet, but if I drive one that does have that fake engine sound, I'll make my judgment then. So.
Let me know.
Yes, I will. I will. All right. Kezia Dawn, we've got you on here for the one reason and one reason alone, and that is to find out about your dream garage. So you wake up one morning and you're getting ready to go to the track, be it Kota or to Laguna Seca or Sonoma, and you get a text and it says, check your bank balance. And you think, oh, come on, this is just a G-up or something. This is like a scam. And then you check your bank balance because you're a bit curious and you find out you've become an instant billionaire. You got this money, you don't know where it's come from, but you get an email from this mystery benefactor that tells you can buy any car, bike or machine that you want, but you're only allowed 3 in your dream garage. So with that in mind, what is the first car, bike or machine that you would like to have in your dream garage? And I have a feeling that you are going to go all out here, so be my guest.
I'm like, can I have a Koenigsegg, a Pagani? Throw in a Bugatti Mistral. No. Do I have to take in consideration daily drivers, or is this just all out the ultimate?
You can do whatever you feel your heart desires.
Because I feel like my heart and soul would always want to have a Porsche, whether that's probably a GT3.
A GT3 RS?
Just purely for the sentimental GT3 RS.
Yes.
But that would be the sentimental bucket. A Valkyrie or a Solus. I've driven a Solus, so I feel like I want a Valkyrie to find out what that is like. It would have to be like a Senna GTR or something.
Oh, and I know you've driven a Senna GTR, so...
Yeah, I know that it's my favorite car on track because I feel like the Solus, I was still so cautious of it because I know that it's a multi-million-dollar car, and if I hurt that, I'm in so much trouble. Whereas the Senna is kind of like, I think it's less than $1 million. So in my head, I'm like, okay, maybe replaceable. There's a few more of those going around the world than there are of a 25 only Solus limited collection.
Yeah. 25.
So I need a track basher. I need the Porsche GT3 for like my sentimental car.
Yeah.
And then I need something that's really just all out insane. And I think I'm going to say the Aston Martin Valkyrie.
Okay.
I've heard that there's been some technicalities from people getting deliveries and stuff, but in terms of performance, that's the one I'm most curious to drive at the moment.
Okay. So we're going to definitely allow, obviously, the Porsche GT3 RS. No issue with that at all. I mean, so many other people I've had on the podcast have mentioned the 911 GT3 RS, which is fine. And I do like that car, although anytime you speak to Jeremy Clarkson about Porsches, he'll always say it's death-defying oversteer. That car is always trying to kill you.
It is a lot of oversteer, and that is why I like having the center on track. Honestly, for a track car, the Senna GTR is my favorite because it pushes the limits without being a solace.
All right. So,
without being a basically F1 car with a show.
Yes, exactly. I love the Aston Martin Valkyrie. Like, it's just one of those cars that it's like a fighter jet. You look at it and you think, oh my goodness. I
need one spaceship. I need one rocket in there.
I love it. So look, they've done a couple of these cars. The first concept was in 2016. The first two prototypes were done between 2017 and 19, and then they went into production in 2021, finished up in 2024. Powered by a 6.5-litre Aston Martin V12, co-developed with Cosworth, naturally aspirated, with a hybrid motor that produces about 160 horsepower. So combine that's almost 1,200 brake horsepower or about 865 kilowatts. I mean, that's insane.
It's a rocket.
It is. It is. And then you match it to a 7-speed, automated manual gearbox. Oh my goodness, it's just insane. Developed with Red Bull as well. I mean, I can see why.
That's the thing. I can't wait for the RB17s to come out when they finally come back. You know, and the Adrian Newey Red Bull.
Yes.
Yeah, that's going to be...
Oh,
that'll be something else.
That would be something so different.
I mean, I think there was something like $11 million or 11 million pounds if I had that amount of money.
Oh. Well, you would like to own a Red Bull RB17 as raced? Or was that
no, the road version.
Oh, the road version of the Valkyrie. Okay.
Yeah, no, of the RB17. It's the road. Adrian Newey's custom developing it.
Oh,
it was unveiled at Goodwood last year.
Oh, let me have a look at it.
Essentially an F1 car on the road.
Oh, let me have a look at that. Here we go.
I think only a limited edition are going to be made roadworthy. They're technically a track car, but...
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. And the production's expected this year. Wow. Yeah. It's a track-only car. Yeah, 4.5-litre Cosworth.
There are some that's going to be road modified, I believe. There's a company in the UK that does it.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
That's nothing good.
That is... Wow. Like that's... And then you attach that to a 200, with a hybrid motor that's producing 200 horsepower. And that's like...
You just have to say... Adrian Newey is the mastermind behind it, and you know that you're going to have possibly the best car out there.
You know what? I'm going to change your ultimate from the Valkyrie to the Red Bull RB17. I mean, I love the Valkyrie, but the Red Bull RB17 is just something else. It is just mind blown there. Yeah. It is so cool. I love it. It is.
Talking cars is like talking about this. This is like talking dirty to me. This is the greatest thing ever.
Well, for those you've got to go, for those
language.
Yeah, you've got to. Yes, you've got to go and have a look at it on Google it up and have a look. It is just insane. Like it does look like a Formula One car, but it is a track only sports car built by Red Bull and two-door coupe. As I said, 4.5-litre twin turbo. Well, actually, it says Cosworth naturally aspirated. V10. It was supposed to be a twin turbocharged V8, but they did go.
There's a lot of changes I think he's done along the way. And I think even though he's gone over to Aston Martin with the F1 team, I believe he's still working on this car until it's complete.
Yeah, that's really cool. I like that. I mean, look, I don't know how much it's going to cost. It says actually around £5 million. £5 million for a car.
Maybe I've thought 11 million Australian.
Well, that's £5 million. Yeah, when you think of the exchange rate, $11 million.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, exactly. £5 million, but with the conversion rate, yeah, $11 million. It's just, wow, insane. So Porsche GT3 RS and the Red Bull RB17 track car, which is like, wow, that's something.
And then my daily track beater will be the Senna GTR.
Done. Senna GTR. And I think only 75 of them were made of the Senna GTR. There's an LM version of that, and there's only 5 of those are made. But that is, I know one of my previous guests has mentioned the McLaren Senna, and it is a really, really cool car. Because
there's the prototype versions as well. There was 3 prototype versions done that were done with Senna's greatest ever lap. So I think it was Silverstone, Brazil, and What was his third one?
Adelaide, I think. Was it one in Adelaide? Or I'm not sure if it was in Adelaide, but
I think it's like, gosh, that's completely blanked me.
let's just have a look here because I've got the
Oh, I need to. This is going to kill me.
McLaren Centers.
Monaco.
Yeah. Because he won 6 times in Monaco, so...
Yeah, I was like, how the hell did I miss that one?
And you're going to Monaco for the Grand Prix, so you should know. You should.
Yeah. Sorry, that was... Should have known that.
So McLaren Senna, GTR, Porsche 911R through GT3 RS, and the Red Bull RB17 track car. Yep, I think
I really need like 5. I need like.
Well, how about
just like right there?
So what was the car that you mentioned before? Obviously, we mentioned the Valkyrie. You know what? I'm going to include the 5. I'm going to make it a 5-car dream garage just because I'm nice. But yeah, the Aston Martin Valkyrie, yes, definitely. Well, what was the last one? Because I don't think I've heard of that.
The McLaren Solus.
Oh, the McLaren Volus. Let's have a look.
Solus.
Solus. Yes. Here we go. The McLaren.
There's 25 made.
McLaren
I think it's
Solus.
still 5 to go.
Oh, Solus GT, and it's centre mount. It's a set like. Okay, so it's built like
so it's set up like an F1 car.
Yeah, so it's built like the McLaren F1 as it was back in the day. Wow. So that's cool. Yeah, so 25 units expected. Started in 2023, running a Judd naturally aspirated 5.2 litre V10. So they're gone to a former F1 engine constructor, which is really cool. So it's naturally aspirated, produces around about 829 brake horsepower, no hybrids or anything like that. It's just a pure, normal V10 motor.
And you have to drive it fast or it overheats. Like you need the air flowing through it. So it really does function a lot more like an F1 car. But you got to remember, like the guys that are building these cars have worked on the McLaren F1 cars. So they're all, built in the same workshop, same crew who have been around this world for so long. So the knowledge that's gone into the Solus, it's insane.
And if you own one of those cars, you get a custom molded race seat, you get a race suit as well, helmet, and hands device. That all comes with the package. I mean, that is just...
Not that you can buy them anymore.
No. Not that...
I think they're fully allocated.
Oh.
Not going to make any more because they're limited.
Yeah.
So if you got one, it's only going to go up in value.
Exactly right. I like it. The McLaren Solus, Porsche GT3 RS, the McLaren Senna, Aston Martin Valkyrie, and the Red Bull RB17. It suits your garage to a T. I mean, I expected nothing less from you, Kezia. I mean, I've known you for a long time, and I know you have very good taste. So I'm very.
You told me I had unlimited money.
Exactly. I know I did, and no problem at all. And I didn't expect anything less from you. I'm very, very impressed. It suits you to a T. I like it. It's a very good garage. It's been a great chat. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It's been good to catch up with you again. And also, it's great to be talking about cars with you. And I'm so happy that you've finally, gone out and chased that racing dream. I know how much you love driving around racetracks, and you've always enjoyed being around a racetrack, and that's your environment. It's been really, really, really cool to see you develop, from what I remember you when we first met to what you are now. So congratulations. All the best with the British Rallycross and also racing in the United States. And hopefully we'll get to see you at other racetracks around the world soon, maybe coming back home and do the Bathurst 12 hour.
I would love to do that. I know you know people.
I do know you will do it. I know you will. Thanks again for coming on, Kezia. It's been good.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been so much fun.
In the words of the late Peter Brock, bite off more than you can chew and then chew like hell. That's exactly what Kezia has done since pursuing her racing career, and there's definitely no sign of regrets. And her dream garage is one that many would be envious of. Okay, there's no surprises about the Porsche GT3 RS, but I was mentally salivating at the cars that she had. The Aston Martin Valkyrie, the McLaren Senna GTR, and the Red Bull RB17. If you've not seen these cars, I highly recommend you go onto YouTube or do a Google image search and just soak in the immense beauty of these machines. They are machines that suit Kezia Dawn's passion for supercars right down to a T. My profound thanks for Kezia for being so gracious with her time. You can follow her media and racing exploits on Facebook and Instagram, and you can check out her website at KeziaDawn.com. We've put all the links in the show notes, as well as the Motor Dream podcast website. The website itself is www.themotordream.com.au, where you can listen to past episodes, find more information on each of our guests, and also on the show itself. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram with the handle The Motor Dream, and you can start a conversation about your dream garage by using the hashtag The Motor Dream, or better still, drop us a line on what your dream garage would be. Our email is themotordream@beastproductions.com.au. Lastly, make sure you like and subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast, be it Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, or YouTube Music. Thanks for listening as always, and remember to drive or ride safely out on the roads wherever you go. We'll be back for another episode in a couple of weeks' time, where my guest is Endurance Rally Raid rider and one of 5 Australians to take part in this year's Dakar Rally, Toby Hedricks. Until then, we'll see you next time on the Motor Dream Podcast. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening to the Motor Dream Podcast. This series is proudly produced by Beast Productions.